A Saturday edition of Super Bowl 55 props for you right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Do you like Cameron Brate? Maybe you shouldn't. We'll tell you why. Welcome to the show, everybody. Good morning, or whenever you're listening. Adam Azer with another Chiefs fan. We are contractually obligated to have every Chiefs fan in the company on the show this week, apparently. What's up, Jacob Gibbs? Are the Chiefs going to win? Tell us that real quick.
Oh, yeah. Easy win. Yeah,
for
easy
sure. Win. Okay. Let's get some easy wins on these props. So Cameron Brate, it was 30.5 yards for Brate. You like the under, but it's gone down a little bit to 28.5 now. Are you still feeling the under on Cameron Brate?
Yeah, I would have liked to get it at 30 there, but I still think you take the under here. He just really has not been nearly as involved as like his target counts might, indicate. His recent production has definitely been inflated lately. And I think it's because of a convenient run of matchups against teams that really use a lot of zone heavy defenses. And that just like naturally is going to lead to more targets to Cameron Brate and the running backs. But he's not going to benefit from that against the Chiefs, who are one of the most man heavy defenses in the entire league and have done a pretty good job against tight ends for the most part this year. So two of the three teams they faced on the path to the Super Bowl rank in the top 10 in zone coverage use. And then when you also factor in the fact that like he only ran 12 routes in their last game out of 53 dropbacks, he only played 36% of the snaps in that game. And then just for the playoffs in its entirety, he only has a 42% snap right here. So it's kind of a boring pick, but like he's really not very involved and he's not somebody I would be betting over on for sure.
All right, well, luckily the other two you're going to give us, you've actually, the numbers actually gotten more in your favor. So you had Travis Kelce, it was 102.5 yards, and you had the over. It's now down to 97.5, and we're still going over, obviously, for Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah, always take the over with Kelce. These next are a lot more exciting. So the Bucks blitz at the 5th highest rate in the NFL, and they're definitely going to be coming after Mahomes with the offensive line banged up. But that just really hasn't worked. Mahomes has been by far the best quarterback in the NFL when blitzed. His numbers are actually better when blitzed than not blitzed. So I think we're going to see Kansas City focus on getting the ball out quickly here. Mahomes' ADOT does drop. Average depth of target does drop quite a bit when blitzed. And so I think that might just lean towards even more targets for Travis Kelce. He's been obviously relied upon very heavily so far, and I think we're going to see the same thing here. So his target per route run rate is up from 24.4% during the regular season to 34.8% in the playoffs. And that is actually just an insanely high number. Even if you're not familiar with those rates, just for reference, Devontae Adams led the NFL with a 31% rate in 2020. And so he's like significantly above that. On top of that, he's also Mahomes' most targeted player when blitzed. His target per route run rate when Mahomes is blitzed is 27.5%. So I think everything points towards definitely a high target total for Kelce here. I like the over on his catches and his yards.
Yeah, and he's over almost every week, basically, since midseason, when the Chiefs just said, well, we're going to throw the ball all the time to Patrick Mahomes. All right, and finally, we're looking at Mike Evans. Mike Evans, you had him over 67 yards. Now it's down to 62.5 yards. So we're going over, obviously, there with Mike Evans.
For sure. Yeah, I think there's a ton of value with that. I like him a lot in DFS as well. So as mentioned with Brate, Kansas City does use a ton of man coverage. And I think that is exciting news for Tom Brady and Mike Evans. I'm not completely sold that Brady's going to find success in this spot. I don't want to underestimate the Chiefs' defense here. Their front seven generates a ton of pressure, and Brady has really struggled when under pressure. He actually has the worst completion rate of any quarterback in the NFL, of any qualified quarterback over the past 2 years when pressured. But if Tampa's line can keep him clean, I think Brady's going to be able to find Mike Evans downfield against man-heavy Kansas City scheme. Brady's been much better versus man than zone over the past couple of years. His most targeted player when facing man coverage was Mike Evans. Evans' target per route run rate skyrocketed from 17% versus zone to 27% versus man. That's a huge jump. Him and Justin Jefferson actually were the only two players in the NFL to have an average route depth above 9 yards and an average target per route run rate above 27%. So he's getting tons of targets, and they're deep downfield. And you just combine that, you have a lot of upside here. Obviously, it's a tough matchup, but I think if Brady can deliver on those downfield targets, it could be a big game for Evans.
Could be a big game for Evans, yet still an easy win for the Kansas City Chiefs. You heard that from Jacob Gibbs. You feeling good about that?
Yeah, I think if they're playing from behind, I mean, that makes sense for Evans to be targeting heavier. Yeah.
That does make sense. All right, well, that's it for Fantasy Football Today in 5. We'll have Jamie on with his props tomorrow. Make sure you're watching CBS Sports HQ. Join us on our Twitch stream, twitch.com/CBS Sports HQ, beginning at 4:30 p.m. on game day. For Jacob Gibbs, I'm Adam Azer. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Want more of the Fantasy Football Today podcast and nonstop year-round fantasy advice? It's simple. Hit the subscribe button and hang with us all throughout the year.